So we need a splash of oil in that. Do that after we pull it out. The stars may have aligned, folks. We missed 2 rains yesterday. We found a 7-foot hydraulic line that happened to fit exactly what we needed on the planter to continue and finish that field. And all of the rain they were calling for today, they have completely nixed from the forecast. Now there is going to be rain tomorrow, unless it disappears too, but we may get some more ground planted.
Bad down there today, Andy.
It just needed a day to air.
Yeah, before you planted it.
.946 is getting the fuel up. I might as well grease my planter because we're not doing anything right now and I've been putting off this task. Although I've been busy, so that's a good excuse. I'm going to upgrade my grease gun and install a set of these lock-in lubes on it. Supposedly the best thing since sliced bread. This thing's on there. This is a swivel fitting. I don't know if I need that or if it's already got that installed, but it's good installed. As opposed to just the tension fitting that the standard grease gun ends have, this has a jaw on the end or a coupler that clamps around the zerks, and it's supposed to be much more efficient with the grease. I guess we'll figure that out when we try it. Never used an adjustable crescent wrench that is this good. Oh, great. Now I'm really screwed. There we go. Jeez. Crescent brand crescent wrenches. They're the real deal. Let's see how it works. Pretty good. Huh. Okay, well, I'm gonna grease the whole planter. With the treatment this planter's just gotten, greased 100 zerks on it, oiled the chains, so I feel like it's at a 5-star resort until I take it to the field. Then it probably will not enjoy what we do with it. A little windy. I was tired of being harassed by you in the YouTube comments for not having impact sockets. So I bought a set of impact sockets to go with my new Milwaukee gun. Will you guys leave me alone now? It does look a tad bit wet still. Okay, so far we've scouted a couple hundred acres of fields. Mostly corn stalks, but a little bit of bean stubble. The field cultivators are way ahead on stubble ground, and a lot of it's not going to be ready to plant anyway, so we're going to try and work some corn stalks today. We've got enough to keep them both busy, and they will be running soon. Although the 9620R is having some technical difficulties, it's not wanting to shift into its road gear, so 17 or 18th gear, so we're having a John Deere tech come out to look at it. The neighbors are out running a mulch finisher with their new Versatile. It's a nice setup. That looks good. Couldn't find anything wrong with the tractor, but Jeff said that it was going into 17 and 18th gear now, so I'm gonna keep running it today and see if it pops up again. A lot of driving around, looking at worked fields. This soybean stubble was worked yesterday, combination of lighter and dark ground. A little more wind and sun, he'll probably plant here soon. Even if it wasn't dry enough, Dad can't sit still for long enough to wait. He may be out planting in 30 minutes. But we're waiting on the ground to dry up just a smidge. We've done a few things. Dumped the excess 3-5 beans out of the planter. It was really unnecessary, but we had a large quantity of them, probably 7 or 8 bags. We're going to a 3/8 bean. It is an enlist, so the same herbicide platform, not that big of a deal. When we move to our last field of 3/5s in the future, we can dump these open bags in, cut back on what we need from the Pioneer dealer, and maybe save or shave a few units off our order, save some money. Other than the looks of the field come early maturity time, there's really no problem with planting a 3.5 at the start of a field of 3.8 soybeans, because you can guarantee that the 3.5 soybeans in almost every case will be ready to harvest before the 3.8s based on their maturity. Next on our list is to go load some corn into that seed tender. And once we get them off, we're gonna get some beans in our seed tender. Even with an almost guaranteed chance of us being rained out in the next few days, I'm very satisfied with where we're at. Of course, I'd like to have all of our crop in before May hits the calendar. That's only 3 days away. However, compared to our neighbors and everyone else, we've got a significant chunk of our crop in the ground. Our planting progress has been phenomenal. And all things considered, we gotta be grateful for that. I believe we're looking for a channel bio corn. I think it's a 110-day corn. Oh, there we go. Channel 210 46 VT, so that's a double pro channel number. I'm assuming 110 day. I don't know. Every seed company's got a different system for labeling their corn. DeKalb's got a 63. You add 50 to that, you've got 113 day corn. Pioneer has a system of their own. I think you add 100 to the first two numbers. We're gonna plant a little over 100 acres with that 110-day channel corn, and then we're gonna finish it off with maybe 25 acres of 112-day Burris corn. So that'll be an interesting comparison. They're gonna load the corn planter, and we're gonna get our bean tender and go up to Bruce's, our Pioneer dealer, and get some Pioneer beans. Came in a little hot there. They couldn't have backed this in any farther before they unhooked it. There's plenty of room to back up another 5 foot, and my complaint here is that for me to get on the hitch where I need to, my truck front wheel is still on the front of the concrete slab, which makes backing in precisely a little more difficult because I'm trying to hop up there, I'm trying to turn. So I'm gonna tell Chris next time he does this to make sure it's backed up all the way. Hey Wes, I'm gonna need 116 units of the 3/8. What's your time frame?
116 to 3/8 right now.
How long till you're there?
I'm right here by Real King, old Real King, and heading back to the shop.
Okay, I'm just hooking up the seed tender.
Okay,
all right, see you
I'll
soon.
meet you there.
Always have to pull up a little bit and wiggle this to get this pin through. Must have to get the hitch seated all the way. Headed to go get seed. That's working up really nice. I'd be planting that if I was them. But I'm not them, so they can do whatever they want. Playing games with us today, huh, Mother Nature? You better bring something big to stop me, because I'm planting beans this afternoon. Here we are. Some Pioneer 38 T76E Enlist soybeans out of his bulk non-treated storage. He's going to run them through the treater and treat them, load them straight onto the tender. Although they sell a handful of soybean varieties, usually their most popular ones are kept in these very big bins. That way they can treat them on demand. Other numbers like that 3.5 we've been planting, he's got individual boxes. These 3.8 Pioneer beans are kind of a go anywhere versatile bean. You can put them on your their light ground and they'll perform. You can put them on their dark ground and they won't struggle to kind of reach that top end. The 3.5 that we were planting earlier was more of a good ground only type of bean. You got to really pick and choose your soybean varieties for the ground they're going on. And we're out of here. 116 units of fully treated 38T76Es, courtesy of Pioneer. We've got a fellow farmer coming up this rock road, and since there's not a lot of traffic, I'm just going to pull over and wait about a minute for him to pass. No reason to complicate this for the sake of a couple minutes of my time. It's little things like that that can make someone's day so much less stressful. Especially mine. There's no reason to have a jousting match on a narrow rock road. Other than the genetics of the soybean varieties themselves, the seed treatment is a very crucial part of success for planting soybeans, especially early. As a matter of fact, I would say that a lot of our success and innovations we made for planting earlier and earlier than you would historically has to do with the evolution of the seed treatments. Without going too far into the weeds, I'll keep it simple. Bruce and Wes, our Pioneer dealers, are treating our soybean seeds with 2 fungicides to prevent against diseases, especially those that target soybean seedlings, 1 insecticide, 1 biological, a seed coat to help protect and dye the seed, and last but not least, an inoculant applied to really help use beneficial organisms and start the production of the rhizobia and soybean root interaction. By applying this mix of products to our already elite soybean genetics, regardless of brand, it really helps us protect our top end yield, especially early in the season. And for a long time, farmers delayed soybean planting because they would typically have emergence problems if they didn't plant them before the ground had warmed up. Now, with the innovations we have, we can plant soybeans earlier than we can plant corn, and a lot of times they can lay in the ground dormant, cool, and wet for over a month, and when it warms up, they still germinate and rise to the top, and usually end up producing a good yield so long as you get a couple timely rains in July and August. Get your map out. We're headed east. Me telling you what direction I'm heading is as useless as a screen door in a submarine. Unless you're familiar with this area, it's really going to mean next to nothing to you. Whether I'm headed east, west, north, all around, you're still going to be lost. I know these roads like the back of my hand. I could take you anywhere. As a matter of fact, I could take you nowhere. That's how good I know this place. We're planting some light dirt, rain in the forecast in close proximity, so we're looking for no deeper than 1 inch and probably no shallower than 3/4 of an inch. So a very tight range to work with, although not that hard to accomplish when the ground's been worked like this. And it's actually in okay shape. I'm not gonna say good or great shape, but it's in okay shape. A nice crumble to it. Gotta appreciate that. Was I even planting? Hello, anyone home? Okay, there's one I dug up. We'll try this row. Now that one's barely in the ground. Inch in the ground, if that. Yeah, I'd say 1 inch. We'll take it. lighter, less productive soil like this, especially when it works, has a tendency to get a very hard seal over the top when it gets a rain on it, especially a hard rain. So we're gonna hedge our bet, pull the beans out of the ground where they are now. We're not pulling them out of the ground, but we're hedging our bet by keeping the beans a little bit higher in the seed bed. I've got an issue. Ignore once or ignore all until key cycle. Yeah, that's a tough one. How about all of them? Seemed like a pretty good idea to get out of the cab and pick this up. Don't know why, but crossed my mind. Not like it caused a lot of damage to a combine if it went in it or anything like that. Given that we just ran this over and our tire is fine, I would say that someone is almost 100% looking out for us. We've had a lot of things go our way that normally wouldn't, and that is just the icing on the cake. Speaking of objects in the field that you don't want to run over, last year on one of the farms we're working on right now, and that we've got in the books to do later, Dad and I are almost certain that we lost a stock stomper off one of the corn heads. We didn't find it when we worked the grounds, and we've yet to find it, although we're fairly certain it's in one of these fields, like I said. Finding that with a tire would be like finding a needle in the haystack, and your prize for doing so would be a very expensive bill to replace a tire. So I am keeping my eye out for it, and we really don't know exactly where it is. We do have a hunch. We drove some of these fields a few times and never located it. So maybe the best thing that could happen is that we don't find it. Because if we do find it, it may not be good. The quantity and location of the oil wells on this farm make this probably my least favorite farm to plant or do anything at. Although I might enjoy it a little bit more if we were getting the oil off the oil wells. Surprised they're not pumping now with oil close to $100 a barrel. I don't think they're decommissioned. I'm sure it's difficult to fathom why these are kind of annoying to farm around. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Don't mind me. On the bright side, at least I have some Canadips CBD pouches to help pass the time and relax me a little bit. If you guys are interested in trying them out, make sure you use code DOLE at checkout, DOLE, for 20% off, or follow the link down below. CBD has been shown to have a variety of benefits, including the relief of anxiety, and that's exactly what these oil wells, power lines, and rough rock roads give me. This pass concludes this field. It doesn't appear that anything is broken from my mile-high view of the row units. Although that first night of planting, I did walk around after running for a while, gave everything the A-OK green light, and in hindsight, a couple days later, I found one of my gauge wheels in the field that had to have fallen off at least an hour prior to my checkover. So I may not have the best inspection stamp reputation. Number 4 is being kind of pesky. You can see the alert alarm just went off, but it's still running a lot lower than the rest of my units. I'm gonna get out and take a look. I presume it's related to that seed we put in being so freshly treated. Sometimes it clumps up. We're gonna try 3 different things. First, we're gonna shake the line all the way across on row number 4. Second, I'm gonna beat on the seed tank just a little bit. And third, I'm gonna run up our fan, our blower fan pressure, and maybe that'll blow that through. It's not wanting to move, so I might have to flip it off to do that. Yeah, that made a world of difference. I think left would give it more pressure. Lefty-loosey, loosey-goosey, more hydraulic juicy. That makes sense. Turn that fan back on and keep an eye on where the gauge goes to. Oh, that's almost off the gauge. Okay, too much loosey. I'm gonna turn it back real quick, just a tiny bit. Still a little much. Hey, I was looking at the radar and I just talked to Wes, and it's gonna be raining here in less than probably 15 minutes. Okay, well, it's raining in Windsor. He said it's raining pretty decent pace. Radar looks like it may skid past us to the north, but I don't know. Here's what we're working with right now. We've got a pretty decent rain coming across. That's about a county to the west. We're here on this blue dot. It may pass us to the northeast, although we may have used all of our feline lives at this point because we've had a lot of things go right for us, and I would not be surprised if it doesn't rain us out. However, we're gonna plant until we get rained out. And in times when you want to get some stuff done with a soybean planter, you can always grab another gear or two. It's not a high-speed planter, and we normally plant too fast even before there's a rain coming. Now that there's one coming, I don't want to overextend myself and get myself trapped and have something sectioned off, so I'm going to work on these short rows. Should be able to get them before the rain comes, and then I'm just going to plant pretty much shooting from the hip until we get there. Hopefully we miss it, but if not, it's not the end of the world. As you can also see, and now hear, by this right here, nothing we did fix that problem. We're not going to mess with it now. We're only running about 30,000 actually, 30,000 below of our target population. It's only 20%. We're just gonna plant. It's one row. I'm a little disappointed to announce that my brand new Milwaukee impact gun is getting put to use, and I don't get to use it. Katie's changing a flat tire on the main frame of a field cultivator ahead of the rain, while I race the rain with the soybean planter, while Marty races the rain with the corn planter. A lot of racing going on. The only person who really doesn't get penalized for racing the rain is the corn planter. That thing can perform well beyond what that 8310R can pull it. Now that I think about it, Katie very well may have found that stock stomper. She was in one of the fields that we suspect it could be in, and she's got a tire completely off the rim on the field cultivator, thankfully not on the tractor. So, it's plausible, very plausible. Anytime I've ever tried to race the rain, it has not ended well for the crop I was planting. Yet, we haven't learned that lesson. It's not in our blood to stop. We're limited on time though. This rain's less than a half mile away. I just want to finish this little sliver in the corner, but this is going to get really sloppy really quick. It wasn't in great shape to start. I probably shouldn't have been planting it. Oh shoot, I got a bag of seed beans on the back. I gotta get that before they get soaked. But I gotta finish the field. There's about 30 acres out here I lack of finishing. At this point though, this is a losing battle. I'm gonna run off and get that bag of seed beans. Got a new passenger. My mind says go home, my heart says keep planting. Probably should just fold up and leave, but I don't really want to. The decision has been made. As long as the mud is not rolling up on my gauge wheels, I'm gonna plant. Well, that's convenient timing. Any guesses? Hydraulic leak, broken chain, locust invasion. All right, what do you got for me? It's the entire planter. So, oh, that'll do it right there. I think I jumped the chain, maybe? Yeah, that's what I get for oiling it. It gets spoiled. It should be fixed now. We'll check it out. I think it's time to go home though. Rain's not slowing down, and it's starting to get sticky on top. It was already sticky, so it's getting stickier. We'll set her down right here. Yep, that'll do it. Those pesky chains, they don't like to bounce around and drive fast. We will sadly auto steer our way to the exit of the field. Yeah, look at my tires gumming up. Hopefully we make it out of here. We've had a good stretch of planting. I'm happy with our progress. Can't win every battle. You can try. You guys want to see something impressive? Well, it's not these windshield wipers, I can tell you that. They couldn't do less if they tried. Gosh, scoot over a little bit. Do you have to be so you? Soybean bags these days. No respect for personal space. Based on the amount of rainfall we're seeing right now and the forecast for the next couple days, I'm going to confidently state that this was the last day to plant in April. We'll be finishing up in May. And if we're not finishing up in May, I'm going to be very concerned. Guys, I told you to stop before it got messy. What were you doing? The corn plant operator must be a little wiser than I, considering he got home before it rained. There's something peaceful about a nice, easy rain coming down. 60 degrees outside, cool, quitting time, I know that. This rain event and the ones that are almost certain to follow based on the forecast would be much more stressful if we didn't have such a large chunk of our crop in the ground already. I know some of you guys aren't near as fortunate to have as much done or any done at all, and I hope by the time this video comes out that you guys have made some progress putting your crop in the ground. Now, no year's the same. Some years it's a cakewalk. It's like you're in Candyland, you get done, no problems. Other years, it seems like everything that possibly could go wrong will go wrong. We're somewhere in the middle, maybe closer to things going right than wrong. However, we don't have any crops out of the ground yet, so we will have to see if we made any mistakes. All of our corn was planted into great conditions. Our soybeans, I mean, I'm actually not really that concerned about the seed bed we put some of our soybeans in. Historically speaking, I planted soybeans in some terrible ground conditions, 2019 to be exact. There were a couple fields where I drug ruts through the entire field, quarter mile, back and forth, planting those beans. And come harvest time, they still made 75. So we'll take that. And I think beans are more resilient than people give them credit for. Or maybe I'm just hopeful that's the case. Looks like one of the field cultivators stayed in the field too long and made a mess. So I'm better off cleaning. There's actually quite a bit of mud on the road. They were finishing the field and they did in fact get it finished, so that justifies getting a little bit of a mess on the road. And I knew that this snow shovel that I had in the back of my truck for some reason, and that's been in the way and a real pain in the rear end trying to put seed in here, would come in handy. That's exactly why I left it in there. Just for this reason, yeah. With the rain continuing to come down and our prospects not looking great, I don't see any reason to keep you guys on the hook here. I think we're gonna end the video. We've made substantial progress into plant 2022. I can be nothing but satisfied with where we're at. I'm always eternally optimistic that we'll get an opportunity here soon to come back up and keep planting and get the rest of our crop in the ground. Anyways, I appreciate you all tuning in. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!